Welcome, gentlemen. It's great to have you here. We will obviously discuss a lot of things about the Lions, but Tom, let me start with you because there was an announcement yesterday that put the Quick Lane Bowl on the Detroit sports landscape. Talk about that announcement.
Yeah, we're excited about that. And for those of you who don't know, we last summer announced that we had joined forces with the Big Ten and the ACC to establish a new bowl game in Detroit. And yesterday we, as you said, Dan, announced the partnership that we have with Quick Lane, a subsidiary of Ford Motor Company that does quick service at many of the dealers around the country, over 700 locations around the country, over 30 here in Metro Detroit. And I think they're a great partner. They're growing the Quick Lane brand as we're growing our bowl, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see the Big Ten and the ACC make Detroit an annual date here in late December this year, on December 26th at 4:30 on ESPN. And really, I think for us, it's an extension of Mr. Ford's vision for this great building. He always said when we conceptualized moving back downtown that he didn't want this place to be something that was just for 10 Lions games a year or more including playoffs. But wanted it to be something a lot more than that. And obviously we've hosted the Super Bowl, the Final Four, the Frozen Four, lots of concerts. One Direction, I think I still hear the teenage girls screaming in my ears from a few weeks ago. But this is an opportunity for us to really plant the flag in the city in December, give us something to rally around, give something for the community to rally around, and importantly, give an opportunity for college football fans around the country to cast their eyes on Detroit in December and see the great things that are happening here.
I think one of the cool things too is you being a former college head coach, longtime college assistant as well, you know what those bowl games mean. The chance to travel, see a different city, go through it together with your teammates, those are memories that these players never forget.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, it's a tremendous opportunity, I think, for the alumni as well as the players that are involved in the games, the coaching staffs, are things that certainly go into those games that last a lifetime. But for me, in particular, you know, I got a little bit of both worlds in the fact that I coached in the ACC for a length of time, but I'm also a Heartland guy from the Midwest and played in the Big Ten. So, you know, I certainly would have to root for the Big Ten side of things in that regard.
I was doing the 6 degrees of the problems we may have. We got a Michigan man, we got an Iowa man, so you two could meet. We also had the possibility of the fact that you went to Iowa and you coached at Wake Forest. At that point, if they play each other, I guess you just stand in the end zone and switch hats every now and then. Let me talk to Tom about that opening Monday, which honestly I am stoked about. I think it's going to be fantastic. But talk about some of the background that goes into that, because there's got to be some cooperation between the Lions, the Tigers, and the city of Detroit, because it's going to be wild.
It is going to be wild, and you know, the first thing you have to say is a great thank you to our friends across the street at the Tigers organization. You know, their game was originally scheduled at 7:05, and they moved it back to 4 o'clock to accommodate all of the sports fans in Detroit who want to be a part of that great Monday afternoon and evening. So it's a testament to them and to the partnership that we have with them that we're able to work together like that. And you saw it, the good and the bad of having two events right next door to each other the last couple of weekends. I mentioned the One Direction concert a second ago, and the Tigers had a game right opposite that. Those two shows actually. And then last weekend we played Jacksonville on Friday night, and the Eminem Rihanna concert was going on right next door. So we can do it. It doesn't make for great traffic, I'll admit. There's not only so much we can do with the entrance and exit ramps, and particularly with some of the great things that are happening in downtown that come with some construction. The M1 rail and some of the other things that are going on make navigating the city even more difficult. But in our view, those are good problems to have. And the partnership that we have with the Illages and with the city is really one that can overcome most of those headaches. And certainly once you get here, even if you've had a headache or two along the way, we know you're going to have a great time. And our staff's going to treat you well. We're going to get you in the building fast. We've got a great group of people that are looking forward to welcoming you through these doors on Monday night. And as you said in your remarks earlier, Dan, there's no place that a sports fan would rather be. Certainly a Detroit sports fan, but I would challenge anybody in the country to provide a better atmosphere and environment that we're going to provide Monday night in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, Coach, when the schedule came out, you and the players saw opening Monday night. Monday night, any time, is something special. Opening night, Monday night, being the first game of that doubleheader. Doubly so.
No better way to start it. It's a great opportunity for the nation to get a chance to see, what we all believe and know and see. We've had an opportunity to kind of watch practice during the spring, also during fall camp, and see our guys kind of go through the paces. And I think to be able to showcase all of our hard work that we put in against a quality team is going to be a lot of fun.
I think one thing you did from the beginning along those lines was really put the onus on your coaching staff and your players to say, we want to win right now. And that's a little different than what a lot of first-year head coaches walk into.
Well, one of the things, I wouldn't have said it if I didn't believe it. Having an opportunity to look at the roster, guys that we have on this team, at the positions in which we have guys that are veterans, that are quality players, and more importantly, the fact that we have a team full of guys with great character. I think the folks that are sitting with them at their particular tables will sense that very shortly. If you haven't met them, these guys are the finest quality. And when you have character and talent, and you put those things together with some direction, I think the sky's the limit.
When you went looking for a head coach now, you knew you were going to hand somebody a team with some talent. That probably brought some interesting intangibles into it, in that you knew it was somebody who you weren't looking for to kind of work their way into the job. You needed somebody who could handle the job from day one.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. And we wanted somebody that met a lot of different criteria. We had a whole profile of what we thought our head coach should look like, and the characteristics that he should have, and the kind of philosophy he should embody. In the NFL, there's nothing we may not know everybody, but it's about 2 degrees of separation. And while I didn't have the fortune of knowing Jim prior to that process, and nor did Martin, but we knew a lot of people who knew him. And the process started by talking to people like Ozzie Newsome and Bill Polian and John Harbaugh, guys that had the opportunity to work with Jim. And then really took off when we had the opportunity to sit down with him in person and spend several hours with him during that first interview. And to hear how authentic and how genuine, you just heard his answer to the previous question, but his philosophy for how you give some direction to talent and character really left no doubt in our minds at the conclusion of that discussion that we had found a guy that was the right fit and that embodied those criteria that we had set forth just a short time before that.
Coach, you and I have touched on this a number of times. You resonated with me on day one when you took the podium and you said, we're going to be a team that doesn't beat itself in the fourth quarter. We'll be a team that doesn't make the bad penalties in the fourth quarter. We're going to be a team that doesn't turn the ball over in the fourth quarter. And I think, unfortunately for Lion fans, that hit home. And it told me you'd studied what you were doing, because that's been the problem here, is a team that can close. As a coach, what's that process from taking a team that's right there and close to a team that can get it done?
Well, I think there's a maturation process that's involved in it. I think you identify what your problems are, your issues are. You get in mix up, you formulate your team to look to some leaders within the group that give them some direction. We have a great leadership council in that regard. So you identify the problems, you talk about the problems, you emphasize. But Schembechler used to always, this old phrase, he'd say, you achieve what you emphasize. And so we try to emphasize these things, not only just in terms of verbiage, and just giving lip service, but we also give them video evidence, show them on film, show the result, and obviously the consequences of things that can happen because of a penalty and things of that nature, and then show them the way to do it right. And I think for the most part, you're going to find that it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but we only have a couple of weeks to go.
You say
and we got to get it rolling, right? But I do think that we have a group of men that can handle any task. And if we do happen to have a little bit of misfortune along the way, we're going to find a way to win one way or another.
Well, and I know, Tom, when you look out at this crowd, when you look at ticket sales, which are great, when you look at this place on Sundays and Mondays when it's packed, there is nothing, and you're sensitive to it, that the Ford family and this organization wants to give these fans more than a team that's putting together a winner.
There is no question about it. When we sat down with the Ford family at the end of last season, the first thing out of their mouth, Mr. and Mrs. Ford, it was, how do we win the NFC North in 2014 and take it from there? And that's where it starts. And that's what the mission is. That's the goal that every one in this organization has. And that's why we hired the coach that we have, and we've got the staff around him and the team around them that we have. We are focused on that goal, on being a championship football team and doing the necessary things to get there and work along the way to make sure that we build that and sustain it over the years.
One final thought from you, Tom, game day experience. I know it's something that has evolved over the years, and there's things in place this year that have changed from last year, but more than anything, it seems like it's really getting fine. line too.
It is, and we've got, as I said earlier, we've got a great staff that really focuses on that experience from the time you get down here and park your car to the time you get in the door and what that means. Because we know that people's entertainment dollars, their time is valuable, and we want to be able to give them a great experience. But we also know that starts with what happens on the field. That we can be as great in the concourses and at the entrances as we want to be, but if we don't have that great product on the field, it's all for naught. And importantly too, we want to get the energy that comes from that great experience. We're not just givers, we're takers too. And we want that home field advantage. We want that Monday night crowd to be loud and to be smart and to be cheering at the right times and to be drawing the Giants offsides like they did a couple of years ago when the Bears were here on Monday night. That really makes a difference. And so when we can have a great fan experience, everybody benefits.
Final thought, because we're going to get James and Golden up here in just a moment. Your message to the fans, coaches, as we say goodbye to you this afternoon, on what type of team they're going to see, your vision for the Detroit Lions as you take over.
Well, one of the things that we stated early on, just in terms of our DNA and who we are, and you can judge us by three things, very, very simple things. Whether we show you and display these things in everything that we do, whether we have a team that's fast, that means a team that can close and run from an offensive standpoint to get the ball in the end zone, cover ground quickly, from a defensive standpoint, close on the opposition, get yourself in position to create turnovers, and to make certain that we're smart. That's the other part about it, that we got to make certain that we don't obviously do things that are going to beat ourselves, and make certain that we take advantage of all the situational things that pop up during the course of the game and do a great job executing them. And then physical. We have to be the most physical team on the field each and every time we go out. So if our guys aren't knocking people around and getting after them and enjoying doing it, and you don't see that, then obviously you've got reason to be concerned. But I think you'll see it from our guys. Our coaching staff, we have a great coaching staff that surrounds these guys and do a great job in terms of giving them direction, and we got great people to work with. These men are outstanding, so look for some great things.
Awesome. Lions head coach Jim Caldwell, team president Tom Lewland.